Okay, is everybody ready to roll? Media ready? All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our second update on the extreme Arctic blast that we're experiencing here in Louisville. We remain under a wind chill warning and winter storm warning. Overnight, we experienced a wild combination of rain, ice, snow, super strong gusts of wind, below zero temperatures, and then awoke to a snowfall as well. So a lot has happened in the last 24 hours since we spoke to you all. Around 3:30 this morning, we moved the operating status of our Emergency Operations Center, where we're at right now, to level 2, which means the center is staffed with public safety and operations personnel who are monitoring the conditions and are ready to respond. This bitterly cold weather is going to be with us through the weekend, so we're going to hear right now from our partner with the National Weather Service, John Gordon, who provides an invaluable service to us and the whole city. So, John, we appreciate you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate you. Well, did we forecast it? Yes, the Arctic blast is here. The Polar Express is upon us. We're 26 below zero. Wind chill at high noon. Crazy. So, as the mayor said, we still got the wind chill warning for the area. That will go to a wind chill advisory this afternoon that will last through tomorrow at 1 o'clock. The winds will continue to blow, not as hard as they were this morning, but still very, very nippy for the next 24 hours. So it will continue. Officially at the airport, we measured 2.8 inches of snow. We had 1 to 3 in the metro. By God, that's a bullseye last time I looked. So went through this whole thing. 35 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts off and on today. Will be diminishing as the afternoon goes on, and they'll be gusting into the 20, 25 mile per hour range through tomorrow morning. Next slide, please. Okay, so it's bitter. I don't know what else to tell you. The minimum this morning in Louisville was around 30 below zero. I don't think you can tell the difference between 22 below and 30 below, but it was very nippy and frigid. Gusts tomorrow up to 25 miles per hour. And once again, that last bullet, read it. Temperatures will not warm above freezing until Tuesday. So we're in this for a while. And as you're going to hear from Director Burns, salt does not work very well when it's 0 degrees. So it's going to take some time. Full sun on Sunday, which will help the road conditions significantly. Next slide, please. So this is just an impressive thing. I thought the mayor would like this. We had a 54-degree change from our high yesterday to the low this morning. We were dropping 30 degrees in 2 hours. That's the Arctic blast, the polar vortex, the Arctic Express, whatever you want to call. I mean, it was very, very cold and below zero this morning. Pretty dramatic, to say the least. Worse since 1989. Pretty bad. Next slide, please. All right, there's the snowfall map. We did miss that little cluster up by Goshen on the north side in Oldham County. There was a report from our science officer, 4.7 inches. Most places in the metro was about 2 inches. For the most places, Bowman had 2.4, 2.8 officially at the airport. Next slide, please. Once again, this is a good thing for all those out and about. It is really not nice to be outside for any length of time. Right now, we got about a 25 mile per hour wind. Current temperature is just below zero. We're looking at around 20 to 24, 25 below zero wind chills. Reason we're dropping to an advisory, 24 is our magic number. So we are diminishing in the wind a little bit. So they'll be in the negative 15 and minus 24 degree this afternoon. Once again, don't be out there. And once again, I forgot this yesterday. I told the mayor, drip. When in doubt, drip those pipes at night. It's not going to cost you that much water. Drip. You do not want a big plumbing bill this Christmas. Next slide. Forecast. Remember that old song, we're having a heat wave? So we are having a heat wave. We'll be mid-50s by Thursday. Hard to believe that we're below zero right now, and we'll be mid-50s by the end of the week. So there's a big change. There is a system on Monday. I think we'll get some snow, probably less than an inch. It will come through Monday afternoon. I'm in sales, not production. If you don't like the weather, you can call my boss at 1-800-GOD. Next slide. And I think that's it. Any questions? Thank you.
The one and only John Gordon. Thank you, John. Now, you said drip at night. I think right now you should be dripping during the day, too, all day, because it's just so cold out there, right? So the story here is not the snow, right? The story here is just this extreme polar vortex that we're getting right now. So you heard from John, these conditions are going to remain for a while. So that's why we really need everybody to stay at home as much as possible. If you do go out, be very alert about slick conditions on sidewalks and the roads, especially through the weekend. You see, this is going to be with us here for the next 72, 96 hours or so. So as we've been saying, this Arctic blast had the potential to create dangerous road conditions, and that's why we've been asking everybody to stay home as much as possible during this period of dangerous weather. As we've been out patrolling the roads, I can say most everybody is doing that, so we really appreciate that. So I want to thank the community for listening and using extreme caution during driving and walking. So here's some stats. Between 7 p.m. last night and 11 o'clock this morning, we've responded to 8 injury accidents and 70 non-injury accidents, which is pretty good considering the conditions out there. The cold exposures, as of 10 o'clock this morning, we had 28 cold exposures, but just in the last 2 hours, we've had an additional 13. Okay, so we're at 41 cold exposures right now. These are individuals who were either taken to a shelter or a hospital and are recovering. So what this is telling us is people are saying, this isn't so bad. I'm gonna go out. And then all of a sudden, something happens. And then they get in a bad, potentially hypothermic situation. They've had to call for help, and we're moving them to the hospital. So please don't get cocky, okay? Just because it's light outside doesn't mean you should be out there. Just hunker in the best that you can. Staying off the roads has helped our Metro Snow Team do their job efficiently and effectively. Big thanks to them. Again, as we're out patrolling, we're seeing they've done a really nice job with the conditions that we have at this point. Right now, Metro roads are snow-packed, but passable at very low speed, and that's because our snow team has been out there plowing and applying a hefty amount of salt. It's not as effective as what we want because of the cold weather. A little bit of sun goes a long way. If we can be fortunate enough to get that, we are seeing that later this weekend. So our team is going to continue to work around the clock and around the city for as long as it takes to make sure our roads are safe. So we're going to get an update right now from Metro Public Works Director Vanessa Burns with more information on our great snow team. Vanessa, Director Burns.
Thank you. Before I talk a little bit about snow, I want to talk about garbage. Yesterday, we were informed that we would not be able to dispose of our trash, and so as of this morning, we have suspended Friday's garbage delivery. It is being changed to Monday. We will be picking up Friday garbage on Monday, Monday's garbage on Tuesday, and therefore similar to how we usually have our holiday schedule. But this will give our snow team and garbage team an opportunity to spend time with their families. I just would like to thank all of our snow team, which is comprised not just of Public Works and Solid Waste and vacant lots and parks, the fleet and facilities, because we went through rain, then we went through snow, then it got cold, and our team went out there and did the best job they can within the resources. So we are going to work on it, like the mayor said, until we're finished, until a little sun comes, a little temperature comes up, and we have enough salt to go from here to California. So the combination should allow us, at this point, for us to be in a position to help Santa Claus get the presents to all of our Louisville residents, and we can go forward and have the best Christmas that we can have. So I just want to thank each and every one of the people that have to be out here. Just go slow, and you should be in a position to get where you have to go, but you want to get there safely. We were very, very, very lucky, as the mayor said, to not have as many accidents, given that everybody can't drive in snow. So we just want to thank everyone for their patience, and we want to thank everybody for understanding that this cold is a really big challenge for all of us. So we're going to do the best job we can. Thank you. same waste collection. Yeah.
Okay. And for those that have yard debris pickup scheduled for today, that will be taking place on Monday, right, Director Burns? So same as like when a holiday comes about. Okay. So just remember, everybody, you can follow the snow team's progress using our snow route map at louisvilleky.gov. So you can get a real-time view of what our roads are doing there. As everybody's been saying, I also want to give a shout out to our hardworking public servants out there, police, fire, EMS, snow team. All these folks are at it 24/7 to mobilize on winter weather, doing a good job out there. They get behind the wheel of these vehicles and take on a really important task, a task that's not easy, of clearing our roads and responding to the accidents during severe weather so the rest of us can stay safe. We're grateful for that, and if you see any difficulties or problems out there, stay wide, okay? Give plenty of room to both snowplows, or if you see any emergency vehicles out there, be sure to give you plenty of distance between them and let them do their thing. Let's also remember that with LG&E. I want to thank the workers at LG&E for responding to any power outages since the storm began. About 12,000 LG&E customers have been impacted, and there have been a number of downed wires and broken poles. The greatest impact being seen is the LG&E service territory is in the Highlands, Linden, and the Valley Station areas. Now, with rain and snow out of the area, bitterly cold temperatures and strong winds are now posing the biggest challenge for LG&E crews. Wind gusts are blowing wires into one another and bringing them down in some instances, and in other cases, the wind is impacting trees that were already weakened by storm conditions, bringing down branches. Then obviously that can impact power lines as well. These challenges are expected to continue until the wind dies down later today. LG&E crews are rotating on 16-hour shifts, and given the temperatures, are taking necessary precautions as they continue to navigate the conditions, tackle system impacts, and restore service to customers. So remember, stay away from downed wires. Treat them as energized power lines. They can really damage you. And call LG&E at 502-589-1444. 502-589-1444 to make them aware of the location. LG&E customers can use the utility's mobile app to keep an eye on the LG&E and KU outage map, report an outage, and keep track of weather conditions. For that, to report an outage, you can text outage, O-U-T-A-G-E, to the number 4 LGEKU. So that's 454358. Water. Oftentimes we have challenges with water pipes bursting when the weather is very severe like this. So our Louisville Water Company, best in the country, is not experiencing any operational issues in producing and delivering drinking water. So that's obviously good news for us. But they are receiving lots of calls from customers with frozen pipes and plumbing. So I want to thank the Louisville Water Company and MSD workers. And before we hear from Director Jody Myman about precautions to take to avoid frozen pipes and plumbing and tips to stay safe in these extreme temperatures, I want to give a few updates on Metro government facilities. Our Louisville Free Public Library branches are open today, but they'll close at 5 p.m. And then they'll be closed through the holiday and will be reopening on Tuesday, December 27th. All in-person services at the health department have been canceled for today, but our team is still working remotely, so residents in need can call 502-574-6520 for more information. TARC is operating on winter weather detours today and is experiencing some delays on routes today due to the road conditions and the limitations of the fleet. If you're looking for current arrival times, please visit ridetarc.org, ridetarc.org, or call 502-585-1234. As you wait for the bus, remember to bundle up with layers and cover exposed skin to avoid hypothermia and frostbite. The zoo, our Louisville Zoo, is closed today. They'll resume normal operations tomorrow, Saturday, December the 24th. Staff members are at the zoo today caring for the animals, some who might be enjoying this weather a little bit more than others. I understand our polar bears have reported that they're having the time of their lifetime. Best weather for them in 3 decades. So congratulations to our polar bears. Nice job, especially to Conic here, very popular polar bear. So we know some folks see the snow and they say, wow, wouldn't it be great to go sledding? Well, not so much, okay? Don't do it. It's just too cold. We do not encourage sledding in these conditions because of the frostbite possibilities on your skin. So that we know there still might be some people who go out, and if you do that, know that you've been forewarned, but please use an abundance of caution if visiting outdoor spaces, and really be alert for dangling or fallen tree limbs. If you see folks out there being careless, remind them, hey, cover up, get inside. Our team at Resilience and Community Services is mostly working remotely today, but I am happy to report that the neighborhood place sites at Cane Run, Bridges of Hope, and Charmoli, they are all open. Now, we're going to continue to see temperatures below freezing, as we talked about, I mean, well below freezing, well below zero. So we are, as always, are working with the Coalition for the Homeless and our other outreach partners, including Feed Louisville, to do whatever we can to help our most vulnerable folks that are living outdoors get inside and get through the weather. Operation White Flag is in effect and has been for a few days now, and our Office for Resilience and Community Services has been in constant communications with our local shelters. Our partners at Goodwill, Kentucky have worked with the state to open a shelter at Broadbent Arena at the fairgrounds. Our outreach teams have worked with Goodwill to get folks off the street and into the shelter, and as of this morning, there were about 40 people at the Broadbent shelter. So I want to thank our community partner, Denise Spears, with SOS, for helping up to provide supplies to the shelter. Good job for everybody. We've done that. We've been working very closely with our homeless teams throughout the city, and folks are, for the most part, heeding this caution and coming inside. So, and if they haven't so far, I sure hope they decide to here today. Reminder about Operation White Flag. That goes into effect when the temperature or wind chill is below 35 degrees. As you've been hearing from John, we're about 60 degrees below 35 degrees when you think about how cold it is out there with wind chill about -25. So with these conditions, we're going to be under white flag for the next several days. So all persons needing shelter can stay at the participating shelters while these extreme conditions persist. We know there's available space still at the shelters. To locate the nearest shelter and to reserve a bed, residents also can call the Coordinated Shelter Access Line at 502-637-2337. 502-637-2337 for information on shelter capacity. As always during Operation White Flag, TARC waives bus fares for those individuals who need transportation to one of the participating shelters. The passenger should alert the driver when boarding and can ride to the stop nearest a participating shelter. With temperatures below freezing, we must make sure our residents are sheltered and dressing appropriately to stay safe in these elements. Emergency Services Director Jody Myman is here to walk us through the sign and symptoms of frostbite and hypothermia and other tips. Director Myman runs the Emergency Operations Center. You've seen him in a bunch of different capacities, and now here we are in a weather emergency. Jody Myman.
All right, thanks, Mayor. You've heard it already. It is a dangerous cold, so, please educate yourself and your family on signs and symptoms of frostbite. Cold skin, that prickling feeling in your skin, numbness, joint or muscle pain, and you really need to learn those signs and symptoms because they can obviously lead into the more dangerous type of situation, which is hypothermia. And those signs and symptoms are shivering, if you get really tired, you get confused while you're outside, slurred speech, and then drowsiness, and you don't want to get that. We want to get you out of the cold weather and into better elements if you experience any of those signs and symptoms. You heard earlier about the drip with the water in your pipes to keep your pipes from freezing. make sure, if you haven't already, to turn the water faucets off that lead to those pipes, those outside pipes and your garden hoses. And also identify in your house where your main water shutoff is. If you don't know where your main water shutoff is and you have a pipe that does burst, you're going to be in trouble. But if you do get those pipes turned off, you're just going to have, and they do burst, you're going to have a minor pipe replacement instead of having to replace everything that's underneath that. You heard Major Cooper yesterday with the Louisville Fire Department mention some safety tips when it comes to fires. Space heaters, if you're using space heaters, make sure you're using adequate space, or you have adequate space between the space heater and walls or any other objects. Don't use the pallets on your gas stoves to try to heat your home if you do lose power. We are watching power outages continuously with LG&E to see if there's going to be a large power outage in an area where we may have to set up a shelter. If you do use generators, don't use generators next to windows, next to doors, obviously not inside your house, so that the carbon monoxide can't be in there. Don't try to start your car in your garage, especially with the door shut. Move your car far away from your garage so that this carbon monoxide doesn't seep into your home. Would like to give a shout out. We have had some pretty significant structure fires throughout the county this morning that we've been monitoring. Pleasure Ridge Park, St. Matthews, the city of Shively, and the city of Louisville have all experienced or responded as mutual aid to the other departments. Louisville Metro Police, St. Matthews Police, Louisville Metro EMS, and other EMS agencies that have supported those agencies on the scene. They've been out in the elements, so keep those departments and public safety officials in your thoughts, and especially TARC, who's been in the Emergency Operations Center since this morning, who have provided buses for those operations for the rehabilitation of the firefighters that have been out in the elements. And then, as always, sign up for Lens Alert. You can text Lens Alert to 67283, download the Smart 911 app so that we can get you information when we need to do that. Thank you.
Thanks again to Jody Myman and the team here at the Emergency Operations Center for leading us through this emergency and many others. Let's remember too, pets. You know, if you're seeing pets that have been inadvertently left outside, please get them in. They suffer hypothermia and frostbite just like human animals do, so please be on the alert for them. And then also, if you've got a friend that lives by himself or herself, please give them a call just to make sure that they're doing okay, and if they need any help, come to the assistance that they need. So with that, now we're happy to take any questions from the media.
Governor Fischer mentioned this morning that there was a death in the Louisville homeless community. Do you know any more about that, or is that in similar cases?
The coroner is taking a look at that to determine what the cause of death was. That was about 9 o'clock last night is when that report came in, so the cause of death is unclear at this point in time. Anything else?
What do you all expect because of the holidays? I feel like more people are going to try to push it and get home for Christmas and that kind of thing. Do you think because the temperatures are going to stay so cold, those road conditions are going to also stay in not great shape? Should people stay home, or should they, what's your advice for people traveling tomorrow?
Okay. Vanessa, you can talk about the roads, but just in general, if you can, stay home and push that get together with your family back a couple days would be the biggest thing. This is one of these things where you can really exercise good citizenship by just kind of thinking about the big picture and staying home. Relative to road conditions, I'll give it to our expert here.
Basically, as the mayor said, one of the things that if you can, to stay home. If you can't, please be slow. The number of accidents that we had was relatively low. If it continues to stay cold, which John says it will continue, at night it gets even colder, and so the conditions will not get better. And so if you can't not stay home, then you need to be very, very careful, especially before you get to intersections. One of the things you'll see that some of the intersections look clear because we load up on salt near the intersections, because one of the things that happens, a lot of people approach the intersections too fast, and that's where people slide into other people, and there's a lot of collisions. But if you have to be out there, and I think it would be, that's a difficult thing, you need to be very slow.
Director Burns, yesterday there was talk that you wouldn't be able to do any plowing because it would be solid ice, but it seems like it's more hard-packed snow. I've actually seen some plowing. Is it a little more plowable than you thought it would be?
Yes, and as a matter of fact, I think I don't know what John says, the total number of inches, but I would suspect that across Metro, there were some areas that got more than others, and we began plowing about 130, 145. That's why the snow map at first just indicated salt, and then it indicated, when Mike Nolan, the snow team director, they pulled the plug about 145. We started plowing. There was enough to plow.
Anything else? All right, let's let John Gordon have the final word.
So the bottom line is, we have wind chills between 15 and 25 below zero for the next 24 hours. So if you don't need to be out, don't be out. Salt takes a long time to work when the temperature's near 0 to 5 above and 5 below. So stay off the roads if you can, and bundle up. Loose-fitting, light clothing, extremities. Hypothermia starts in 30 minutes, and you don't want to go to the hospital on Christmas Day. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Stay safe.